Hello, everybody. This is what I'm calling QR Dizzle. It's my warm up for my flagship show, Quantum Recall, that I'm starting in just a little under 3 weeks from now. Thursday, June 25th, I'm going live in my flagship studio over there. This right here is my Studio B. I have like 4 different recording areas in my house, but only 2 of them are kind of decked out. And this one I've been putting time into lately, getting it looking cool because I wanted to come on here and say hello. I have to get used to talking again in front of the camera. And I'm a little self-conscious, to be honest with you, because I hear so much negativity online. I haven't been online streaming for almost a year. I came on extremely very briefly to talk about Charlie Kirk when he was assassinated last fall, and that's it. I don't feel like, I'm not the type of guy when I'm on sabbatical, which is what that was the whole past year. I was on sabbatical. I came on and talked about Charlie Kirk, and I'm not going to talk about that right now, but I'm a little bit, self-conscious. I'm thinking about James Lindsey right now, because James Lindsey, he's always like criticizing people. He trolls people. He has 600,000 followers. And so basically he's ostensibly God, and he gets to say things about people and be ridiculous about people. And so I'm thinking I'm wearing these glasses, and it's like the way I want to express myself, but I hear him dumping on a certain comedian out there. Now I'm like spacing the name of the comedian. He's a very well-known comedian, has lots more followers than James Lindsey, I tell you. But so if you're wearing glasses like this and people can't see your eyes, James will troll you. And so troll me, James. I mean, like, I don't have enough followers, and so you have that kind of Piers Morgan type of attitude where you're like, no, man, I have more followers than you, and you're not anything compared to me. And so what makes me right about everything is that I have followers. And so, ha ha me. And that's the idea. Everybody has that idea online. It seems like everybody's attitude is, I have more followers than you, and so therefore I am right. They think that's what validates the rightness, or that's what gives them validity in the thoughts that they're expressing and the things they're doing. God knows I have controversial views that I'm afraid to express. And I know that in this climate, you can say certain things so mildly and not crazily, and people will dump on you hard no matter what, because like on both sides of the political spectrum, there is this sort of woke quality. And what I'm calling woke quality right now, let me see if I can define this for you. It's when people, they disagree with you, and then you don't like counter their thought with substance. You just attack them with labels, and it's ad hominem attacks. And I just kind of wish people, including James Lindsey, including a lot of people on both sides, would actually debate ideas. Instead, James will like say, he does things like he calls Alex Jones a mutant. Well, why don't you address the idea of what Alex Jones is talking about? Or I mean, he's also called Owen Schroyer retarded, and I really like Owen, and I think he has a lot of valid ideas. I think all kinds of people have valid ideas, but James Lindsey doesn't want to listen to people, or it's just like you troll to clout chase and get a following. And but what I'm saying is, the point I'm making is, I wish that James and all kinds of people would state their case and not just hate someone for having the wrong view. And that's how I'm defining wokeness, whether you're on the left or the right. It's being like nasty when someone doesn't share your view, and you dismiss them, you dehumanize them, you attack them as stupid, you label them with mean names, you weaponize psychology against them sometimes. I'm not fond when people do that. Fond of it when people do that. But I felt like coming on and talking, and I want to give this a few minutes tonight, because you go through a few minutes of this and you wind up noticing, hey, something happens. My mind wakes up and all of a sudden I'm clicking and everything's jiving right. Yeah, I say jiving. I'm a strange man. This is, I mean, like, it's kind of valid how I express myself on here. the words I use to articulate. They're just like the amalgam of my personality, what has made me up over the years of studying this, that, and the other thing, the things I read. My current reading list is extraordinary right now. I'm reading a biography of Mao. And it's a 600-page book. It's a beast. It's a behemoth. And what I'm discovering early on in this, assuming it's true, I have no reason to believe it's not true. It rings true. I think Mao was a horrible person. That's what I'm getting. He was a horrible bandit, kind of gangster thug mentality guy who was supported by Joseph Stalin, and that's how he got into power, was very much with the assistance of Russia. I hope the audio is okay on this. It appears to be. When I'm looking at the computer, everything appears to be okay. But aside from that, I'm reading a book that I'm almost finished with by Yuval Noah Harari called Nexus. And that, I'm not such a fan of the man Yuval. I don't like the way he dismisses religion as mythology. That annoys me a lot, and it's really like he doesn't have any choice. But I actually don't want to. I don't want to get into that too much. Why that? But it's a brilliant book, and the man does really shine. Some of the things he points out about networks and bureaucracies in the world and how it's evolved from history into the present time, consisting of networks and computers, and now forthcoming we have AI coming into the fray. Brilliant, brilliant stuff. He has definitely stoked the way I'm thinking about all kinds of things, and made me think about. He tells stories about Stalin and the Soviet Union, and I'm blown away by that stuff. But the last few months, this is really true. I started reading the New Testament again, and every single day I have read the New Testament reliably and faithfully. And I'm like just to the last few pages of Revelation, and I'm actually reading a book along with Revelation. This is not the first time I've read it. I've gone through it several times. This particular book, it's like the second time I've read the book, and because it's very cryptic and hard to understand what's in that book in the Bible. But I started reading the Bible again this spring because I hadn't picked it up in a while, and my faith felt stale, and I just felt this kind of longing and yearning for it. And this is honestly true. And I got so much out of reading it on this occasion, so much personal growth compared to the first time I read it through entirely a few years ago. Especially with my understanding of the Apostle Paul. I'm fascinated by that story. And I've read several of these books about these guys. And so I read, I'm like, oh, cool. I'm going to read the book of Romans. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a son of Italy. That's cool. I'm going to read this. But it's not like a patriotic book about Italy, the book of Paul's letter to the Romans. It's more like I'm a lousy person, and I think about it all the time. And so I wind up, I'm the type of person, when I read through the Bible and it strikes me heavily, personally, spiritually, the way that I'm seeking relationship with God, and it moves me tremendously, profoundly, and I wind up being a person who repents every day, and knowing that every day I fail, but I'm also simultaneously fascinated by what God offers in terms of redemption through faith and repentance, and what I think is an earnest effort to be, on my part, obedient to a lot of things where I don't swear like I used to swear, and some things have truly mellowed out. And I'm not saying, oh, I'm so great, I'm so righteous, I'm so perfect. On the contrary, I'm a very messed up individual. That is not a joke. That is just the reality of my life. I think pride is a sickness, and this is Pride Month. I'm just not happy the way pride was hijacked and inverted to try and seem like a good thing. We should not be taking pride in sin, and I try not to take pride in sin. And I have important discussions with people in my family who I think are just kind of very uninformed about their literacy of the Bible and what's asked of us. And it's like, well, I don't want to go too deep into this. My point is not to insult family or anything. I feel like I have a good understanding of what's going on, and I'm trying out of compassion and worry for their literal immortal souls. Like I want to help them see how they should be, trying to inspire them to surrender more and let Christ dwell within them. And here I am proselytizing again. And, I don't have a lot of courage to do that in person when I go play pinball and when I meet people who don't seem, especially certainly not Christian or faithful in the traditional Christian sense. I don't have a lot of courage to bring that up, but I'm glad that when I come on a stream, I do want to talk about it. And so if some of those people, they're pretty much gonna, like, people in certain social settings where I go are gonna know that I do this, and they're gonna listen, and they're gonna be like, ew, but that's okay. Like, I'm not gonna go out there. You are more than welcome to bring it up with me if it's really like a discussion where you want to discuss something intellectually and we can enjoy it and appreciate an intellectual, spiritual discussion, a biblical discussion about scripture or God or faith or struggles we have in life or suffering or forgiveness. All these things I'm happy to discuss with people who like want to talk about these things. I haven't been going to church as much, but I still have been invested in my faith with as much as I pray every day, with as much as I read the Bible every day. And I'm not saying I do these things, therefore I'm good. I'm saying that I am seeking relationship with God Almighty, especially I intercede through Jesus Christ, and I like it. It gives me some kind of peace in life, and that's what I want to do. But it does concern me, though, that I have a tendency. Oh man, gee whiz! I am part of the world. I'm part of the wicked world. I like to dwell in a lot of things worldly, and I cling to them. And it's like shedding your skin trying to get rid of these. I mean, behind me, I have heavy metal stuff on the wall. You can't see it because it's kind of dark. This is a music book of Ronnie James Dio. This is a poster of John 5, and that's a Bible verse. He was named a Bible verse by Marilyn Manson, and I find that kind of fascinating and ironic that this very troubled, dark man, Marilyn Manson, gives a Bible name to his guitar man that he helped make famous. He's one of the people who helped make him famous. I just find that interesting. But so many worldly things. I also have pictures of my kid down here. Over here is what I'm talking about. It's dark, so you can't see it. So there's Crosby, Stills, and Nash here. And you hear beautiful music coming out of someone like David Crosby and those guys in that band, and Neil Young on one of those amazing albums that they did together. And I'm like, this is so beautiful. On some level, God has to appreciate this, right? Because the majesty of what human beings can do, it's like, when I love the talent of a person, it's like, to me, that becomes something like giving God glory for the wonders of this person, the amazing talents and the things that these people do. It's a byproduct, in my opinion, of God. The devil doesn't give you your gifts or talents. It's God who wove you in the womb, gave you your talents, sorted out all the circumstances of your life to make super amazing things possible. Speaking of which, let me segue into this. Like, I started reading a book about illustrating and art this spring, and I decided months ago that I was going to try harder to practice drawing. And I'm delighted to say that I have been practicing drawing, and it's a wonderful pastime. And I have to admit, when I was younger, it's kind of like I felt about music when I was younger. I didn't realize that I had this potential to develop this skill. I thought you had to have some kind of innate special quality. I thought, and that's not me. But as I tried to play music when I was younger, I reached a point when I was in my young 20s and I realized, like, oh my gosh, I did not realize I could do this. I had to grow up and become like a mature adult to realize that when you put time and effort in, and when you really commit and dedicate time to something like that, that you can grow in it and you can become much better at doing it. And so what I was going to say is about drawing, the last few months I've had this kind of renaissance of realizing, holy crap, this is another one of those skills that when I was younger, I thought, I can't do that. I even went on after learning music thinking, oh, that's not me, I can't do that. But But the more I have watched people drawing in videos on YouTube, and the more I've sat down with pen and paper and markers and pencils and stuff, and I have to reference drawings from pictures and stuff, I have discovered that I am able to draw more than I thought. And I'm not perfect. Like with anything, but I still very much consider myself a beginner, but I'm much more capable of doing it than I thought. And so here's like a comic book series called Powers written by Brian Michael Bendis and Michael Avon Oeming, I think is how you pronounce his last name. Oeming is the illustrator of this. And this particular cover you see here, this is a series, a volume 7. It's a compilation of a bunch of comic books they put into all one book. And so I get ambitious these days, and I'm like, I'm trying to draw stuff. And so I decided to take this cover and start drawing this. And I started doing it with markers, and it's pretty kind of cool. It looks a lot like it. It's certainly not perfect if you look at the little details. So I penciled this, and I penned it, and I colored it with markers. And there's much more to do. There's like I need to put some window details in these high-rise buildings to create depth. And I'm going to color this with an off-white, all of this white background, and put these white lines like in this other thing here. But I'm so grateful and pleased that I have that skill. And I notice it's one of these things when I do it, you get in kind of like a flow state. And I have spent hours drawing this spring where time just vanishes, and I'm in this flow, and it feels absolutely wonderful. And I'm grateful for that. And so today I went and I bought a new issue of this. The drawing style has changed a lot because these guys, they just evolve. And so I actually am buying this, not as much for the stories, but I see certain illustrations and things in here, like this sort of Superman looking character. I picked this up today and I was like, that's it. That's one of those pictures where I'm just like driven to draw it. And that's totally what I want to do, is to draw that. I don't want to go on too much longer. I'm going to come on here and there over the course of the next week and warm up. Like I said, I had an idea of a few of the things I wanted to talk about tonight coming on. I didn't quite plan on picking on James Lindsey, but James Lindsey, I have this discomfort with James, even though I know he's brilliant and I hear him being brilliant sometimes. Sometimes he's so simplistically critical of other people, and I just wish instead he would go through the intellectual exercise of explaining where he's coming from instead of just trolling on people and hating them, because I know that I'm looking like a certain comedian he was trolling on recently, only much less fat. I'm much more fit than both of these gentlemen. I'm sure that I work out much harder. I wish I could remember the name of the guy, and I am going to like be playing videos from this comedian I'm talking about when I start the flagship show in the other room here in Studio A over there in Quantum Recall land. I have to get used to saying Quantum Recall because Copy Who became Quantum Recall, and I just kind of feel like I like this mystique about the quantum realm and all things quantum and physics and quantum physics and the unknowns and the mysteries of all of that. And so it kind of like metaphorically speaks to what I want to talk to in terms of a lot of conspiracies. And I am a philosopher by my very nature. That is what I want to do, and therefore I am what I am. Yeah. Okay. What is the deal? What do I want to talk about? Just finishing up here. I love Los Angeles, and I think it's absolute corrupt bullshit there with the government and the election system and the mail-in ballots. And anywhere there's mail-in ballots, there's a recipe for disaster. And people are like, what? You're a conspiracy theorist about elections? And so I'm like, my response, which is kind of boilerplate, is sort of like, are you kidding me with all the negativity politically in the world, the discord and the division and the dysfunction? You want me to sit here and say like, oh, hey, there's nothing wrong with the election system, like hold that up as some ideal? Well, everything's messed up in the world, but not the election system. By golly, not the election system. And so like if California were in perfect shape, I probably might have more faith in the election system. Same with Colorado, same with any blue state where things are upside down and stupid and reality is inverted and morality is inverted. But so I wanted Spencer Pratt to win out of the Democrats there, I think, who were doing a primary, and that Bass lady, she's just bad news, and the other lady who surged past Spencer, she's bad news as well. Like, and so if you want me to defend that, it's just that I think establishment people who are like anointed and appointed to win by the corrupt system and the people who pull those levers, they have an agenda where it's like masquerade that they're doing good for people and that they have good intentions, when in fact the agenda is to collapse the system through an agenda of managed decline. And that's just what I observe. That's what I think about it. I think that's reality. I think that's true. Can you dig it that I think that's true? I dig it. I certainly dig it, not the managed decline, but that I think my perception of that is very accurate. And so I don't feel sorry for feeling that way. But it is what it is. I mean, totally, I think we're living in a reality where people are trying to manage us into decline, to impoverish us, to take everything I, oh my gosh. So like I'm well off here, okay? I like my comforts. I'm super grateful for my material stuff, and I feel bad. My faith feels bad because I like hear Christ in my head saying, "Sell your stuff, follow me." And I'm like, "Sell my stuff." I'm trying to spread the word of Jesus through my stuff. So this is how I'm imperfect. I'm making excuses, but truly, I mean, like, hopefully I will have a will and testament that gives all the honor God is looking for. But these resources I want to use to honor him, to be his instrument in the world. I want him to convert me to his purpose. And that's frankly my prayer for myself every single day. When I say a prayer, I'm praying to be converted to God's purpose, to make me his instrument in the world. And I frankly, honestly pray that for the people that I love. So I want to get going here. I've been going 23 minutes, and I think that's enough for tonight. I got a few good minutes of bippity bapping on here, and I'm loving this. I'm loving this. I'm loving the green in this screen over here. You see how that's me? So I don't want Justine Bateman to get upset with me because I used AI to convert a real picture of me, a real selfie of me, into this cartoon version character of myself. Is it stealing from someone for real? Like, because it's just outlining colors and so it's like shading, and how could it be stealing? Human beings do things that are derivative of other human beings, but if an AI does it, suddenly it's bad. And I'm not knocking her super hard. I actually get it. But I've used it a lot to prepare to do my new show in there. This part of what you're seeing here is the new show intro. And it's kind of interesting and funny to me how much I've gotten this area to look cool. In my estimation, it looks cool. I only have the one camera here. In there, there's so much more going on production-wise. I even got a camera slider, so there's going to be a camera in there that's moving. And of course, I will be doing that, and I will be reviewing videos and stuff. But I love LA. Well, I got off the topic of LA. I love LA and I love California, but I despair over how in decline California is, and I do believe it's because of corruption, and I think it's an upside down wacky place. And so I'm not hating on California, although I'm not extending compliments to the government there or the people in governance there who have savagely wrecked the state seemingly on purpose because of what I was saying before about managed decline. I want California to be well. I want New York to be well. I want Washington and Oregon to be well. And somehow it just seems to be that a lot of these blue states are the ones that go awry. And you know, I could go into all of this, but I'm not going to. It's 25 minutes I'm into this right now, and so I'm going to start wrapping this thing up right now. I'm going to hit this little song right here, and I'm going to say Thursday, Thursday, June 25th, I will be doing my show in there. That's when I say silence ends, because that's when I'm gonna really go full on. I'm gonna be putting out clips, and I'm going to be religiously posting clips to social media and trying to build this. So if you see what I'm doing here and if you like it, I'm asking you, please, I'm begging you, be a part of this. Help me spread this, because my creative is my Goomba. My creative is so important to me. But in any case, I want to say, as I always say, I'm Paul Vincent Serini. This is QR Dizzle, the little itty bitty sideshow that is leading me into my other thing that I'm doing in there. And I'm going to build this thing, and I'm going for broke now. There's no stopping me. I feel a sense of urgency, okay, everybody? So everybody, you take it easy, and I don't know when I'll do the next one of these. Maybe I'll be inspired and come on tomorrow, too. Peace be with you all.